I'm thankful that these things have also become a big part of my life, especially cookout. Having an older brother willing to sit at the softball field for endless games makes things easier whenever I need a laugh or a pick-me-up. Thanks for always being there to call me Judy when everybody there knows that is not my name.
I've never been more proud to call him my best friend in the entire world. Sorry, Judy. Not only is he smart, funny, and always down to sing Reba, but an amazing educator and leader. I am so happy that I've been able to watch him grow through his FFA journey and love every single second of it. Even though I haven't been able to see him face to face as much, but being able to answer a FaceTime call with a big smile on his face, ready for him to fill me in about the day that he had that he was so excited for, made up for all of it. Even if that meant talking about anything under the stars and singing more Reba, needless to say, Bates never let us down.
It is an honor to introduce to you my brother
And my cousin,
and your 2018-2019 State Vice President, Justin Daniel.
Growing up in North Carolina has always been a very unique experience. Let me explain. For some of us, it takes 3 minutes to get to the nearest Walmart, and for some of us, it takes 30. You might be from North Carolina if you said things like fixin' to, called a shopping cart a buggy, and you've heard a Southern mama say, bless your heart, when you knew they meant the exact opposite. We eat things like liver mush, Brunswick stew, and something called chitlins. But let's not even talk about the weather. In the morning, it's pants and a heavy coat, but inevitably by lunchtime, it's shorts and a t-shirt. You have had school canceled due to a heavy frost, but you've ridden out a hurricane at a Friday night football game. But nonetheless, we are proud to be from North Carolina. We're home to things like cookout, cheerwine, and Bojangles. Plus, even some of the things that we see on TV. The Andy Griffith Show, Dirty Dancing, and Forrest Gump were all filmed right here in North Carolina. But one thing that will always divide us is the color that we bleed. For some of us, it's dude blue. Yeah. For the worst of us, it's Tar Heel blue. But the best of us, it's NC State red. Where's my But despite differences over college sports teams, or if we prefer vinegar-based or tomato-based barbecue sauce, one thing that will always unite us is music. Maybe it's pop like Shawn Mendes, Ariana Grande, and Cardi B, or country music like Lauren Elena, Luke Combs, and Jason Aldean. We never hesitate to roll the windows all the way down and crank the radio all the way up. My favorite, however, is none other than the fancy singing, fringe wearing, steer-ripping gal, Miss Reba McEntire. Maybe it's her music, or maybe it's her movies and TV shows, but it could also be a quote she said. Reba said, to be successful in life, you need 3 things. A wishbone, a funny bone, and a backbone. Something I like to live by called the bones. All of us have goals and dreams in life, but seldom do we work towards those. See, Reba began to learn the value of hard work at a very young age. When she was 6 years old, she would drive her daddy's farm truck so he could stand in the back and kick out hay to feed their cows. But Reba didn't want to go to school and back to the farm, even though she raced barrels and her daddy was a world champion steer ripper 3 different years. Reba wanted to make a difference, get inducted into the Grand Ole Opry, travel the world, doing what she loved the most, singing. But Reba knew that it was hard for a woman to make it in the 1970s male-dominated country music industry. Her first single ever released to country radio made it to 88 on the charts. In fact, it took her 3 years to even get a single into the top 10. But Reba embraced her wishbone. Reba knew the goals and dreams and aspirations that she had for her life. She wasn't going to let her background or her gender or anything else determine her future. She kept her eyes on the prize and worked tirelessly to accomplish her goals. In 1976, she made her Opry debut. In 1988, she was finally invited to be a member. Through all of that time, she chose to embrace her wishbone. What goals make up our wishbone? And where do we need to start working in order to accomplish those goals? And what can we do to ensure that everything we're doing is making sure our eyes are on the prize? My grandmother used to tell me, sometimes to keep from crying about things, you just gotta laugh. Now, flashback with me to my freshman year of high school when I got to spend a lot of time with my cousin Brandis, Netflix binge watching, midnight Walmart runs, and eating a ton of soup and chicken pastry. We were two peas in a pod, practically solving world problems. Brandis was 26, a school teacher with a small child, working on her master's from ECU. One day she found a lump on her neck, and after a few doctor visits and tests, she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. 26 years old, a school teacher with a small child working on her master's from ECU. So when I would miss school to stay with her after treatment, we were given the option to choose joy or to choose pain. We could choose to find the gold or to find the dirt. But, singing fancy, we took Reba's advice. We chose to laugh instead of cry. We looked at the glass half full instead of half empty. We found the glitter in the grit. No matter how far you think the rip current has pulled you out, how tragic your love story, or how terrible your day, take Reba's advice and embrace your funny bone. What can we do to ensure that we are embracing our funny bone? And how do we choose to laugh instead of cry? But on the contrary, what ways would things be different now if we stopped choosing pain and started to choose joy? If we didn't have a backbone or a spine, we would be a blob. But on a less literal note, I like to think of a backbone as a support system or something we can rely on. Turning 16 in a teenager's life is a pretty exciting time. For me, I thought I was going to be able to hang out with my friends a lot more, but it just turned into milk runs to the Walmart for my mom that is 30 minutes away. But something else happened when I turned 16. I had to pack up all of my belongings and move out of my childhood home because my parents were separated. I became a part of the statistic that says over 50% of kids in grade school come from broken homes. For the first time in my life, when I saw my friends go on family vacations, I knew that my mom and dad would never go on vacation together again. For the first time in my life, when holidays were supposed to be a time of joy and family, my sister and I spent hours in a car traveling from one place to the other. For the first time in my life, I had to pack up my bags at one place I called home and go somewhere that I still called home only for a weekend. But for the first time in my life, I found FFA. And FFA became my backbone. FFA was my home when mine was falling apart. FFA showed me what family meant when I thought I had forgotten. FFA was my life jacket when I was surrounded by deep water. What is your backbone? At the end of the day, when all is said and done and your head hits the pillow, what do you rely on the most? But how can we be a support system for somebody other than ourselves? To be successful in life, we need three things: a wishbone, a funny bone, and a backbone. And as FFA members, community leaders, sponsors, special guests, parents, we must embrace the bones. Whenever you feel like giving up, think about Reba. Reba chose to embrace her wishbone, and because of that, she is now the only female country artist to have #1 hits across 4 decades. FFA members, what is your wishbone? Whenever you feel like your day can't get any worse, or you feel yourself choosing pain or joy, think about Brandis. Because she chose to find the gold in the dirt, she defeated Hodgkin's lymphoma and walked across the stage at her master's graduation with a 4.0 GPA. Family members, what is your funny bone? And whenever you feel like you have nobody to rely on, no support system, think about your backbone. Maybe it's sports, maybe it's FFA, maybe it's your faith, but whatever it is, pick it, hold on to it, and rely on that. Like Reba says. FFA members, what is your backbone? Growing up in North Carolina makes us pretty unique, but our bones make us unique as well. All of us have different situations, different wishes, and different support systems. But no matter what they are, we must embrace all of them, like Reba says. Because when you choose to embrace the bones, you too can be successful. If you don't know what your bones are, well, take Reba's advice. Chase your dreams. Choose to laugh instead of cry. And rely on your backbone. Because when you do, you can get that #1 hit. You can defeat that disease, and you can get that chapter office position or varsity sports team you have working so hard for. North Carolina FFA, dig deep and find your bones.